What's going on, guys? It's Henry here. Today I just want to share with you guys a story I wish that wasn't true. Yes, just like the video title said, I did get scammed. So pretty much why I'm doing this video, just to share with you guys the whole experience, what I actually went through, how did it all happen, what I did after the scam, and maybe give you guys some advice or some tips to actually spot the red flags of the scams. Alright guys, just before we actually move on, if you guys like this kind of content and want to see more in the future, please consider like and subscribe to my channel, because it will actually help myself and my channel to grow, and it's kind of act like a motivation as well for me to actually keep making videos for you guys. So yeah, please like and subscribe if you actually enjoy the video. That's all I'm asking for. Alright, let's jump into it. Okay, so if you've been on Facebook Marketplace before, or recently, just looking to buy stuff, not just specifically PC parts, you definitely should have spotted some very good deals, and sometimes too good to be true. Now, for PC flippers, I understand that it's very, very tempting to try and reach out and secure those deals. But let me tell you, it's not always the super obvious or the super low price ones that you should be worried about. Not once, but twice that actually fell for Facebook Marketplace scams while trying to buy PC parts, and resulting in a loss of 1,360 Australian dollars in total. So a few months back, maybe around March or April, I was looking for GPUs for upcoming builds, and yeah, I managed to find some great deals on GPUs. One is the Sapphire Nitro Plus 7900 XTX for 1,050 Australian dollars, including shipping. Conditions was spotless and still under warranty as well. The other one is also Sapphire Nitro Plus, but 6700 XT for 350 Australian dollars, including shipping. Solid price on that GPU because it was pretty much brand new. And last but not least, the MSI Gaming Trio X 6800 XT for 550 Australian dollars, including shipping. So yeah, all at very, very solid price. I did my usual check. They check their profile to see when their profile was created, checks their ratings to see if they have any ratings. Yeah, just the usual, And yeah, everything seemed to check out, and I went and accept the offer and secure the deals. But here where's the red flag comes up. They all prefer to use bank transfer instead of PayPal, because they say they want to pay the extra fee and wait for the 21 days fund clearance for PayPal. Now, tip number one, if they don't take PayPal, chances are it's a scam. I'll say you're probably looking at around 70% to 80% likelihood that is dodgy. The reason why I actually said 70 to 80%, because actually in my case, I know I was pretty stupid enough to accept the deal using bank transfer, but yeah, fortunately it turns out that all three were actually genuine sellers. All the GPUs arrived safely and in great conditions. But yeah, this success was exactly what set me up for my first scam. After a few days I received the GPUs, I found an i9 3900K for 400 Australian dollars and then reduced to 330 Australian dollars. Now around that time, that CPU was going around 450 to 500 Australian dollars used. So I thought that I actually got some good news for my little brother's build. Given my success with the GPUs, I started to trust their sellers too easily, and didn't notice some of the very, very obvious red flags, such as the seller's profile was actually created in 2017, which is not too long ago, and their profile has very little activities and low number of friends as well. Also, the fact that they do not want to take PayPal. And number two, they were using a bank called Bendigo Bank, and coincidentally, it was the same bank that someone scammed someone else while pretending to be me, using all my IDs and credentials, because I think they got it from one of our biggest data breach in Australia, through Optus. So yeah, that whole thing became like a case where the police actually got involved, because they actually came to my house and started asking questions. But yeah, I got overconfident and did not see any of those red flags at all, and I transferred the money without any hesitations. And yeah, they said they'll post the CPU around lunch the next day, and yeah, you guessed it right, nothing was sent at all, with no replies, and all my message was left unread. I reported the account, and just a couple of hours later, the account got deactivated and deleted. And this is the moment I knew I got scammed. I immediately contacted my bank to see if they can reverse the payment. I think because it was still in the 24 hours window, so the other bank might just withhold the fund, but it was too late. But yeah, that was my first experience of being scammed, and knowing that I didn't even notice some of the very obvious red flag was very disappointing. But yeah, what can you do? It is what it is. It's already happened. All we can do is just move on. Fast forwarding a couple months later, at this time around, I actually needed a GPU for myself, and I managed to find pretty much the same deal as the previous GPU. So Sapphire Nitro Plus 7900 XTX for 1,050 Australian dollars, including shipping. With the only differences being here is that this was actually listed on Gumtree instead of Facebook Marketplace. Gumtree is pretty much like the Craigslist for US, so the platform is pretty much the same, where people just list stuff for sale. Now, because I was scammed before, so I actually went into this deal being very skeptical. I made sure that I actually do a very thorough check on the profile, such as checking their profile creation date, which is 2012, so all good there. The profile actually have a lot of good ratings, so Gumtree displayed this profile as highly rated. And also they actually gave me their phone number, so I was like messaging them through their numbers. So yeah, everything looks fine, and the price was the same as the previous deal, so I thought this person was a genuine seller. But here is when I should have just listened to my gut's feeling. There were actually 3 red flags that comes up. One is they refuse to use PayPal because they claim that they recently got scammed due to the 21-day clearance period for PayPal, where you actually have to wait 21 days before the fund actually clear and goes to your account. 2 is that they work at night, so the only way they can ship to me is around like lunchtime the next day. And 3 is that number wasn't linked to any PayID account. So in Australia, you can actually link your actual bank profile to a number, so when you transfer something, you can just use the phone number instead of like the whole bank account. And I spotted this, and I didn't think to ask that person like, look, do you have any PayID and stuff like that, to make sure that it's linked to that profile. I actually checked, and it wasn't linked, but for some reason I trusted this seller, and so I didn't want to ask why they didn't have any PayID or any profile linked to the number. So yeah, at this point I was just like weighting the positive and the negative. So on the positive side, this seller actually has a profile that's been created a long time ago and is highly rated by Gumtree. Also, they gave me their phone number and their bank details, which I checked, and is from a pretty big bank in Australia, which is ING. So all the positive side checked out. And on the negative side is that they refuse to use PayPal. They said it could be sending around lunch. And 3 is that their number isn't linked to any PayID account. So the positive actually outweighed the negative in this point, where everything seems to check out. And I think the last nail in the coffin that actually made me transfer the money was the fact that I actually was in need of a GPU, and actually found something that actually was the same deal as I had before. So yeah, then again, right timing and right place, I guess, for the scammer. So yeah, I actually sent all that money through to their bank account, and yeah, the next day around 11 a.m. I actually messaged them again to say, hey, can you give an update on when you're going to be sending the card? And guess what? No reply at all. So yeah, this is when all my alarm bells goes off, and the reality starts slowly set in to the fact that I actually got scammed again. So the first thing I did was to contact my bank immediately and let them know that I just got scammed, and see if they can put in a request to reverse the payment. Now, one thing that I did differently from the first time that I got scammed was this time around I actually contact the other bank too. So I contact the scammer's bank, which is ING, and let them know that this account has been used to scam me, and yet to see if they can do like an investigation on that account and see if they can find out what happened to the fund. But to be honest, realistically, I'm not expecting my money to come back. It's probably already gone, because the moment the scammer received the fund, they can just disperse that into multiple accounts, and yeah, there goes my money. So yeah, after getting burned twice, I decided to make this video to pretty much raise awareness and maybe some tips for you guys to potentially spot a scam on Facebook Marketplace and save yourself from falling into a trap. So yeah, here are some of the tips that you can apply to potentially spot a scammer. Tip number 1, they don't want to accept PayPal. If they don't take PayPal, time to say bye. You likely will lose your cash and your trust get fried. Just remember those rhymes. No matter what reason they give you, like, I don't want to pay the PayPal fee, I don't want to wait 21 days to clear the fund, whatever. It's just not worth the risk. Like I said, if they refuse to take PayPal, just walk away. Tip number 2, sellers' locations. Look, I'm aware that some people actually live very far away, but in my experience, the likelihood that it being a scam from a seller that's literally located in the middle of nowhere is pretty high. Because I think the main goal of this scammer is for you to use freight, because you literally have to send the fund first before they actually send the item out, and you don't have to meet them in person. Tip number 3, watch the timing when they wanted to send you the item. Now, I'm not too sure about other people's experience, but in my experience, after getting burned twice, they always promised me to ship the items the next day around lunchtime. For this one, I'm not too sure why they do this, but I think one potential reason is that they're actually waiting for the payment to actually clear before just disappear. Tip number 4, check their profile on accounts. So if an account just been recently made and there's like literally no activities at all on that account, that's a red flag, because it's most likely it's a fake account. Tip number 5, check the banks. Just be careful when you see or hear smaller or lesser known banks, because in Australia, the scammer actually take advantage of these banks due to their account creations policy are strict. So if it's like a bank that you've never heard before or seen before, so in my case it was Bendigo Bank, there's a high chance that it actually is a scam. Now, just to clarify, I have nothing against Bendigo Bank at all. It just happened that 2 major experiences of me being scammed, the scammer were actually using Bendigo Bank as a proxy bank. So this is more of like for raising awareness and not like pointing fingers or blaming a particular bank. And who knows, maybe they can take this as like constructive feedback and improve their policies. Alright, just before we move to the last tip, I do have one extra tips for you guys. Now, this tip might just be able to apply in Australia, because I'm not too sure how the other banks operate in the other countries. But yeah, if you can get the seller to message you via their phone number, you can actually check using your bank app to see if that number is actually linked to any PayID account. So if there's no like PayID account actually linked to that number, or it was like someone else entirely that actually linked to that number, and there we go, we have ourselves another red flag, because the scammer is either using a burner number or someone else's number. Alright, tip number 6, if the price are too good to be true, this probably is. If the price seems way too low, or if it's too good of a deal, it probably is a scam. However, recently I've noticed that scammers actually stopped using the super obvious tricks, such as putting like a super low price on an item to make it like a super good deal. So which is gonna make it a lot harder to actually spot them now. It's very important that you guys actually follow all the previous steps to make sure that you guys do a thorough checks on the seller, just to make sure that you're actually dealing with someone genuine, not a scammer. Now, if you actually think that you've been scammed, make sure you contact your bank immediately, and also contact the scammer bank as well to report that fake account, so then they can actually start the investigation as soon as possible. But let me be real with you though, the chances of you getting that money back is very slim, so it's important that you manage your expectations and just act fast. Alright guys, I hope you guys find that video useful, and trust me, I know when you get scammed, it's like the worst feeling. And not to mention that, you know, all the aftermath of dealing when you just get scammed. Oh man, that's just straight up frustrating. And remember, scam can happen to the best of us, so you're not alone. And also, it's not really the end of the world. You can always make that money back. But most importantly, you learn something out of that experience. So hopefully these tips can actually help you spot those scams and scammers. And yeah, I just wish that you guys don't fall into the same trap like I did. Thanks to anyone that's sticking around to the end, and also a massive thanks to these people who actually provide me constructive feedback with my video. Don't worry guys, I see you. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video around to raise awareness and, you know, to help people avoid these scams. But yeah, I'll leave you guys at it. Thank you very much again. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Laters.